Hello Zimbabweans. Today, the 2nd of December 2025, His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa chaired the cabinet meeting. The following issues, among others, were considered and approved. Cabinet deliberated on the 2024-2025 summer crops marketing and the 2025 winter season crops production and the 2025-2026 summer season production plan. The grain stock at the Grain Marketing Board as at the 27th of November 2025 stands at 180,000 metric tons, out of which ADA has contributed 60,347 metric tons. The harvesting of the wheat crop has been completed with a total of 640,195 metric tons harvested from the 122,000 hectares at an average yield of 5.2 metric tons per hectare. Trials are underway at ADA to produce a variety with hard wheat characteristics. A total of 47,709 metric tons of barley has been harvested from the 6,156 hectares planted. A high average yield of 7.75 metric tons per hectare has been achieved compared to the 7 metric tons per hectare in the year 2024. Cabinet received a report regarding the violation of learners' rights at an institution in Harare, and following the disturbing reports that 9 candidates were barred from taking their final Zimbabwe School Examinations Council Family and Religious Studies ordinary level examinations. The learners were excluded on the grounds of turning up in haircuts which the authorities considered inappropriate. Following a meeting with both the school authorities and the parents or guardians of the affected learners, the government of Zimbabwe noted with concern that the action taken by the school authorities was inconsistent with the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education guidelines and the national regulations governing equitable access to education. Remedial action has been instituted. Cabinet received an update report on progress in terms of the refurbishment of the National Sports Stadium in Harare. The refurbishment is part of a broader endeavor to upgrade sports infrastructure across the country, and in particular to ensure that the local infrastructure satisfies conditions for hosting international events. Through a triple P model which was meant to accelerate refurbishment works, remarkable progress has been scored at the National Sports Stadium, including works on the pitch, the drainage, and herbicide application, with lawn planting expected to commence soon. The B Arena drainage works are also in progress, and overall progress on other works, including electricals, is at 90%. Cabinet also received reports in terms of the priority projects as at day 50 of the third 100-day cycle of 2025. In terms of the National Development Strategy 1, in terms of human capital development and innovation, the Minister of Higher Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development highlighted the following major achievements. The University of Zimbabwe Hospital in Mazoe District, Mashonaland Central, is at 77% in terms of completion. The Agro Innovation Center at Gwanda State University in Matabeleland South Province is at 88% in terms of completion. The construction of the E.D. Mnangagwa Law School in Kwekwe Midlands Province is been completed. The construction of the students' hostels at the Manicaland State University has reached 52% in terms of completion. And the Mtoko Bioeconomy Industrial Park Soap Factory in Mashonaland East Province is at 70% in terms of completion. The superstructure of the Central Analytical Services Laboratory at the Marondra State University in Mashonaland East Province has been completed. In terms of the housing delivery and social amenities pillar in terms of NDS1, the Minister of National Housing and Social Amenities highlighted the following achievements. The Marondra Flats Housing Project in Mashonaland East Province is at 97% in terms of completion. The construction of health facilities at Uzumba Maramba Pungwe and Mtawa Tower Housing Project in Mashonaland East Province is at 90% in terms of completion. The construction of health facilities in terms of Mother's Shelter in Mwenezi District, Mashingo Province is 100% complete. And the servicing of 432 stands in Midlands, Gweru, is progressing well. The servicing of 1,102 stands by Masimba Holdings in Shurugwi Midlands Province is progressing well, with the drainage having been completed and the roads at 90% in terms of completion. Under the Human Capital Development and Innovation, in terms of NDS1, the Acting Minister of Skills Audit presented the following achievements. The skills fair competitions were successfully conducted in Chipinge, Chimanimani and Nyanga districts. The digital literacy training sessions were held for staff members from King George VI and Jairus Chiri Center in Bulawayo Metropolitan Province. And the ministry produced a national career guidance policy that will assist in the establishment of a coordinated, inclusive and forward-looking career guidance system that supports learners and job seekers at every stage of their lives. In terms of housing delivery and social amenities, the Minister of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare reported the following progress. The construction of 3 blocks of flats at the National Building Society at Glaudina Phase 2 in Harare is at 63% in terms of completion. The construction of 300 housing units under the Bulawayo Accelerated Presidential Housing Scheme, the Range More Phase 2 is 42 units that are at shell structure level and 96% in terms of achievement in terms of the substructure level. The Rishavani Midlands Park project in Midlands Province, which houses 448 students, was commissioned by His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, having achieved 100% in terms of completion. The installation of solar panels is in progress, and the Madokero Creek Phase 2 housing project in Harare has reached 67% in terms of completion. Cabinet approved the MOU that will be entered into between the Republic of Zimbabwe and the Kingdom of Spain on cooperation in the field of tourism. The objective of the MOU between the two countries is to enhance and promote cooperation in the field of tourism through digital marketing, development of tourist destinations, diversification of tourist products, and the development of sustainable tourism. By having the MOU, the two countries will also be strengthening their subsisting cordial relations. Cabinet approved the country's accession to the Hague Agreement concerning the registration of industrial designs. Zimbabwe joined the World Intellectual Property Organization in 1981 and signed its instruments to the World Intellectual Property Organization Convention on the 29th of September 1981. The Hague System is an international framework that governs the registration of industrial designs across multiple jurisdictions with minimal formalities. Acceding to the Hague Agreement will offer Zimbabwean designers a cost-effective and efficient mechanism for protecting industrial designs across multiple and thorough single international registration processes. Cabinet considered and approved the bilateral agreements between the Republic of Zimbabwe and other 4 states. The bilateral air services agreements will be entered into between Zimbabwe and the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, the Republic of Rwanda, and the Swiss Federal Council and the State of Kuwait. The 4 countries are contracting states of the Convention on the International Civil Aviation, which is the Chicago Convention. The objective of signing the agreement is to create and foster friendships, understandings, and cooperation, as well as to enhance the expansion of air transport opportunities. Cabinet considered and noted the report on the inaugural binational commission between the Republic of Zimbabwe and the Republic of Zambia. The inaugural binational commission between the 2 republics convened on the 14th of November 2025 and was co-chaired by His Excellency the President Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and his counterpart, His Excellency H. Hichilema, the President of the Republic of Zambia. The 2 countries agreed on a number of areas and signed 5 MOUs in the following areas: diplomatic training, immigration and technical cooperation, labor and employment, agriculture, and youth development. Zimbabwe expressed gratitude to Zambia for its continued support in the anti-sanctions crusade. Cabinet received and noted the report on His Excellency the President Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa's state visit to the Republic of Mozambique. His Excellency the President Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa traveled to Mozambique and was in Mozambique from the 21st to the 22nd of November 2025. The President undertook the state visit to Mozambique and was received by President Daniel Chapo. The 2 heads of state and government convened the inaugural session of the Zimbabwe-Mozambique Binational Commission, and the objectives of the state visit and the Binational Commission were as follows: to review progress on the implementation of agreed areas of cooperation, to strengthen and consolidate the excellent, long-standing political and diplomatic ties, to explore new areas of cooperation between Zimbabwe and Mozambique, and to sign MOUs in designated sectors. The 2 countries will also cooperate in war veterans affairs, which will culminate in the rehabilitation and maintenance of liberation war shrines, museums, and monuments for the preservation of the liberation history and heritage. The one-stop border posts at the Forbes Machipanda in Nyamapanda, Kuchamano, will be operational by the end of the first quarter of 2026. The Binational Commission directed the removal of all barriers to the movement of people, goods, services, and all tariffs and non-tariff barriers to trade under the SADC and African Continental Free Trade Area frameworks. The 3 MOUs on women empowerment and gender equality, SMEs, and youth development were also signed during the Binational Commission. Cabinet received and noted the report on the 7th African Union-European Union Summit, which His Excellency the President Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa attended in Luanda, Angola, from the 24th to the 25th of November 2025. The joint summit was held under the theme Promoting Peace and Prosperity through Effective Multilateralism and co-chaired by His Excellency President Joao Lourenço, and the President, who is also the President of the Republic of Angola, the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, and His Excellency Mr. Antonio Costa, President of the European Council. The summit, held on the backdrop of the 25th anniversary of the African Union-European Union partnerships, was attended by 18 African Union and 16 European Union heads of state and government. During the summit, His Excellency the President, Dr. Idi Mnangagwa, called for the reform of the international financial architecture, comprehensive reform of the United Nations Security Council to address historical injustices against Africa, and to support for Zimbabwe's candidature for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council for the 2028-2029 term. The summit culminated in the Luanda Declaration, which reaffirmed the two unions' commitment to joint vision in terms of Vision 2030, and emphasized support for the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, including strengthening cross-border value chains. The declaration also noted that trade arrangements between the two blocs should unlock industrialization rather than perceive Africa as a raw materials supplier. Cabinet received and noted the report on the 2025 Regional World Children's Commemoration Day, which was held in Gaborone, Botswana, from the 14th to the 15th of November 2025. The Honorable Vice President, Dr. C.G.D.N. Chiwenga, led the Zimbabwean delegation to the commemorations, comprising government officials and 20 children from the Junior Parliament. In his address, the Honorable Vice President advised that Zimbabwe was investing in child-centered policies with heritage-based models, equipping learners with innovation and other important skills. He also stated that Zimbabwe was undertaking other programs, including the homegrown school feeding, keeping girls in school, and school health and wellness programs. Cabinet received and noted the report on the G20 Leaders Summit, which was held in Johannesburg, South Africa, from the 22nd to the 23rd of November 2025. The Honorable Vice President, Dr. C.G.D.N. Chiwenga, led the Zimbabwean delegation to the G20 Leaders Summit, which was held under the theme Solidarity, Equality, and Sustainability. Zimbabwe was among the 16 countries outside the G20 that the South African government invited to the summit. The Honorable Vice President delivered national statements in 2 sessions. He expressed appreciation for the opportunity for Zimbabwe to engage with the G20 and collectively chart a common trajectory towards inclusive and sustainable economic growth. The Vice President urged G20 to reinforce a fair and transparent multilateral trading system under the World Trade Organization, and to reform the international financial system to improve access to affordable and sustainable finance. He also underscored the need for value addition and beneficiation of minerals at source. Cabinet was briefed on the high-level meeting of the 26th session of the United Nations Tourism General Assembly, held in Saudi Arabia from the 6th to the 14th of November 2025. The Minister of Tourism and Hospitality Industry reported that Zimbabwe was successfully elevated as Vice President at the 26th session of the United Nations Tourism General Assembly in Saudi Arabia. Zimbabwe was also elected to the United Nations Tourism Council for the period 2025 to 2029, together with Angola, Kenya, Seychelles, and Zambia. I thank you.